Today I'm going to be talking about the purification process. Purification and what that really means. And I'm going to be tying this into our journey and what I've been experiencing so far, and how everybody points the finger at this man here. Everybody points the finger at him, but they don't understand the process, the shadow work that they have to do when they meet a spiritual guru, a guide, which is who Chief represents in our lives. The purification process is not an easy process. Many people think spirituality, which basically is just the study of human energy, psychology. It is psychology, the study and the quality of the spirit, of your mind. It's not an easy process. We are fighting a multitude of things that are going on, generational curses. You have environmental factors that go against the harmony of living truly to who you are. We have societal factors that hinder us from being who we are. We have familial factor. We have a lot of different things weighing on our heads that prevents us from truly being who we are. And so what my husband's focus was to bring focus to how humanity is truly progressing in our evolutionary process, where we are right now. So he shed light on a lot of issues that a lot of people are really I would use the word really shy or timid, or very closed about talking about different subjects that has to do with reality here. I mean, come on now. We as human beings shy away from a lot of things that are really truly actually just very normal. Relationships, we're not as open as the Black community with relationships and how to have them in a healthy space or a healthy way, or how to build and cultivate, or how to even live in close quarters with people without I wouldn't say without having disagreements, because everybody's going to have a disagreement, child honey. That's just the name of the game. You're going to have disagreements, but it is your response to these disagreements, and it is also your perspective and the way that you go about solving these. And see, that's why we have the 3 C's. We have a wide range of knowledge that whenever people who are actually students of Chief will get into these, I would say, lower frames of thought, or negative thoughts or negative emotions, we have solutions. The purification process isn't easy, especially for Black people. We need help. We need a guide. We need a representation of how things are supposed to be and, being done. And we have that currently. But yet we as a people are in a state of not loving ourselves so much that when you see a blessing or an entity that has come for a certain group of people to enlighten them on the right way to do things, enlighten them on divine knowledge of self and how to truly live righteously, then you take that for granted. And I think that's what a lot of people did. They weren't looking at him through the right perspective. once everybody get triggered, because the spiritual journey is about self, knowing yourself, studying yourself. Once you study yourself, you'll be able to study others. You'll be able to be a master of psychology. You'll be able to be a master of reading energy, and other things come with that. But when you come into spirituality, it isn't easy, because we are reflections of one another. The closer that you get to another person, that's as close as you're going to get to yourself. We are mirrors for each other. So a lot of times people point the finger, especially at my husband, Iyah. Everybody points the finger. Everybody says that he is the bad guy, when he's truly just trying to help people, and sometimes even speed up the process of healing, because there are certain steps that you have to take, but sometimes you could fast forward those steps to kind of mitigate a lot of the the bullshit that comes with healing. So he tries to help and guide people. People are not strong enough to deal with the fact that every situation that we are experiencing is telling us something about ourselves. You always have to point the finger back to yourself and asking, what is this situation telling me about myself? What is it telling me? Just because you don't understand how to communicate or deal with your emotions doesn't give you the right to point the finger and blame it on somebody else. This is the age of Aquarius. If you're having problems, if you want to know something, the internet. Go to the internet. We have a wide range of information on natureboytv.com. People don't have to go and listen to the drama. You can listen to the knowledge. What was Chief really trying to get people to do? He wasn't having anybody do nothing bad. He wasn't having people selling drugs. He wasn't having people doing, violent things on the street. He wasn't having nobody doing that. He was having people study themselves and proclaim divine knowledge of self, which means turning on this camera and teaching, sharing the knowledge that we have gained from our spiritual guru, our higher self, and sharing it with the world, essentially, or to whoever who will find it, so that it will help them on their journey. But people, they tend to shy away or don't understand. They really just don't understand themselves. So when you have a messed up perception about yourself, you're going to have a messed up perception about somebody else. You're going to point the finger. It's not an easy process to be on spiritual, on your spiritual path and really focus. We have so many things that are against us, that if we really just came together to support each other, we would be much more further than we are today. But yet we still struggle because of the consciousness of our people, and most people don't like to hear it, because they like to remain in ignorance. But for the few who don't like to remain in ignorance, I'm going to tell you, you don't have to be in ignorance. Everybody is a reflection of you. All you have to do is look deeply into yourself or into the other person to understand where that person is coming from. On this journey, I've seen a lot of people point the finger at Chief. Point the finger and say that he did this and he did that. He would never okay, never ever have to do anything to hurt, harm, hinder nobody. He is a very fly, very enthusiastic, very passionate, very he has a lot of style, he has a lot of swag. He don't need to down nobody. He don't need to do nothing hurtful, harmful, nothing to nobody. He don't have to hate on nobody, nothing. But I could say the opposite. Like he has a lot of haters, a lot of people who want to smile in his face, say, I get it, but deep down inside they really don't. And so you will see situations where the people who really weren't in understanding do certain things that they do. They will lie, they will steal, they will cheat to get the opportunity or the seconds of fame that they think that they're craving or they want. But you have to remember that these people were yearning for something when they first found Chief. They were yearning for something within inside of themselves when they looked out into society and they seen that it did not resonate with them. They were searching for something. But their astrological program or their perception wouldn't allow them to go any further and truly realize and soak it in and take in and embody what my husband so readily does. Like, he's the original of this shit. Like, he is the one who going to break it all down and deliver it to you passionately, with clarity, with focus. He's going to break it down. He said, no, focus on this. No, don't put your attention over here, over there. Focus on this. And that's what a lot of people have a problem with, because you got to understand, we're in separation here. So we're seeing everybody as competition. So they're looking at Chief like, I want to do that. I wanted to be the one. I wanted to be the one that it comes from. I want to do that, or I want to do this. Well, we're not online no more. He's not online no more. Where they at? Where they at doing it? Where they at being like, I bet you 100% that these people are still miserable. But what did it do? What did this whole situation do? Chief did his job. Because his job was to show you exactly who you are. Did you see who you are? Because everything is a test here. Everything is a test. It was just to show you who you are. And so, on this journey, you have to look at yourself. You can't possibly point the finger at somebody that's helping you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, this is what they do. Okay, say for instance, you see somebody that you like, I'll say yoga, right? You found your favorite yoga instructor, and your mindset was, so that I can be great, I'm going to go study under this person. I'm going to go and do what they do, go and read what they read, eat what they eat, sleep how they sleep, so that I can be just as great as them. This is what these people had said. This is what they made up in their mind, that they were going to go and study up under Poppy, so that they could be the best like him. Everybody is trying to emulate him, but they cannot do it because they was not ordained to. And that's where the problems comes in, because like Poppy was always saying on live, there's there are too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Everybody's trying to be the chief, or pretending that they have the abilities that they have, or compare themselves to him. But put yourself or these people in the same situation and see how they respond. You will see that it ain't nowhere near the same. So my husband is the original. He is the G of this shit. He is the one who gonna break it all the way down. He's honest, very compassionate, very loving, yet people focus on the negative things that they see, because it is only thing that they can see within side of themselves. Do you get it now? The spiritual journey is one where you have to look within. You have to look within, not without. We are creating our reality with our most frequent thoughts. The thoughts that you think frequently, that is your frequency. So if you think abundance, if you think love, if you think prosperity, if you think Christ consciousness, if you think passion, if you think divine knowledge of self and learning, you will find Baba G. Everything else, you will be where your knowledge led you to. And that's fine. Everybody's not here to live a righteous life. I don't have to beat anybody up for doing it. I don't have to bad talk anybody. Your opinion is your opinion. And I'm here. You give your opinion freely, and I go on about my business of what I believe and how I can openly express myself to teach people who are on the same spiritual journey as us. You know, so to say that, and then I also wanted to talk about, the experiences of him being able to get a life sentence without anything being violent or anything being actually done, because it was a lie. I don't understand, and I think that this has showed light and exposure onto our justice system and how that you know what I'm saying, everybody is actually in danger. This is a time of war. This is not a time to be quiet. When you are passionate about something and you see something being done wrong in the world, that is when you become an activist. That is when you open up your voice to actually do it more. You have to do it more. You have to explain divine knowledge of self to people more, because we are under attack from a lot of different ways. Society, environment, you got food, you got your water. I mean, we are not, this is not a time to be quiet. This is a time to kind of sound the alarm. Look at what happened to Chief, and he did not do anything to this girl. He don't have to. And people always choose somebody to point the finger to when they don't really get what it is that they want. It's your fault that you can't handle your own spiritual journey because of what you did. Everybody has to own up to and kind of answer for what they do on their journeys. You have to answer for what you do. So if you want to enter somebody's life and say you agree and then leave and talk shit about them, and then decide that, you know what, I was in my feelings about that, I really didn't mean it, I'm sorry, I apologize, I want to come back into your life because I really love you, I really care about you, and they say, yeah, you can come back, you've learned your lesson, right? And the person says, yeah, I think you're an amazing guy, I don't see any fault or any wrong in you. And then when something doesn't go your way, or you hit that generational curse, those feelings of emotions that hit and rise, everybody has had that happen to them. This is not nothing new. Everybody has had their emotions triggered by somebody where they made you feel angry, they made you feel sad, they made you feel depressed, they made you feel like you want to fight. They made you feel like you want to smile or laugh or cry. People can evoke these kind of emotions within you. So when Chief evokes these kind of emotions on you, unbeknownst to him, because he's just being him, we're coming into his world, into his environment, so he's doing what he usually do. You coming into his life, and so then you get triggered emotionally and you storm off again. And then you say, oh, he did this to me, he did that to me. Where in your right mind, when is the truth going to be said? After you lied and did all of the damage? Well, then it's too late. You already lied. And then we live in a world of duality, right? Where I just said, it's too late, you just lied. But then you have the universe that says that I don't want to punish you. I just want you to learn your lesson. So you lied. Yeah, you lied. And then it's not too late, right? Because you can always just come back and tell the truth and then not do it again because you say, oh, you learned your lesson. You're still going to have to pay for your karma for doing what you did, but at least you're living with a pure heart. And that's what a lot of people couldn't do. A lot of people couldn't open up themselves enough to be vulnerable, to live from that pure space that Poppy always lives from. That authentic space that he's always expressing from. A lot of people couldn't really get there to that level of expressing what's bothering them, what's on their mind, what's on their heart. You know, just normal, simple things that people talk about, but they couldn't do it. So you hold a grudge and a resentment against him because you wasn't able to do it, or you wasn't able to be close to him, or you wasn't able to have a romantic relationship with him. We know that this happens throughout relationships. We know that women do this all the time. We already know it. But when it comes to the light and we're putting out, oh, this is something that really happens on our spiritual journey. Like, I want you guys to see this because I don't want to lie to you. He doesn't. This is the thing about Chief. He doesn't want to lie to nobody about the spiritual journey. He wants you to know how it is. He wants you to know the real of it. It ain't gonna be flowers and green natures and trees and clouds all the time. Sure, anybody can cut on the camera, right? And anybody can talk, do debates. Anybody could say anything they want to, but when it comes to that real time, when you have to really live your knowledge, you will see that not many can live up to what they speak about. And that's just real. Throughout this whole 2 years, throughout this whole 2 years, he has never changed. His spirit has never changed. Nothing has changed. So the people who are trying to break him because they feel some sort of type of way, whatever way they feel, I don't care. I'm not going to say how you feel, because everybody who is black or from the hood, they already know how you feel. I don't have to say it. But you did that because of the way that you perceived from your mind, which wasn't actually true. All he was just trying to do was help. Spread awareness. Shed some light on the spiritual journey, because we going into this kind of blind here. Like, I ain't never had nobody that been on no spiritual journey before. Who gonna tell me what way to go? Who? Nobody, really. So it's like, we have a guide. We have a guy here, and he's not afraid of being a leader. He's not afraid of dashing out there first, going to live in nature, living close to the land, eating food that is from the earth, receiving the messages that are coming from nature in order to, so that he can interpret it and give it to us. He shares everything he has. He shares his knowledge. He shares his wisdom. Opens his home, opens his doors. And that's not nothing different from any other country, village, city that has their world structured, or these islands. People do it all the time. They have their way of thinking. I mean, the United States, you pledge allegiance to their way of thinking. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize, is that it's just so many labels and so many misperceptions of things that it's just rubs me the wrong way, because you don't have to be ignorant no more. And they're like, please, like, just do your research, like, use discernment, like, don't take everything so serious, and like, come on, like. But I guess, you know what I'm saying? The whole thing of this journey is to be able to be as open and as vulnerable as possible with people who are interested in starting their spiritual journey but don't really know how to do it. So we turn the camera on and say, oh, this is what happens when you in a relationship. You really care about somebody, but you got another girl come here, and I really like her too, and I want you close to me too. And then you see another girl come and you say, oh my God, I like you too, I want you close to me too. And then all of the beings come close together, and the women comes close together, and then they start looking at each other in comparison and fighting and this and that, and we're like, let's turn the camera on because this is what it looks like, y'all. This is what it looks like right here. And people take it the wrong way, but in reality, it's just really meant to help and assist people so that they know, like, yeah, when you're on your journey and you're searching for inner peace, you're going to get some chaos. You're going to get some things that you need to deal with, especially with working with people. Everybody's not going to be able to work with somebody and everything be okay all the time. No. And when you have the right perspective of things that Chief gives us and tells us how to look at things in a state of oneness, look at things from a state of curiosity. Questioning everything. This is what he tells us, and I want to mark his words because they are all quotes, OG classics. We got an OG here that's guiding the youth, guiding the people, guiding the elders. Let's just get it all the way real here, because some elders are, it has to deal with the consciousness of the person. So yeah, you have somebody who is already just being totally honest and sharing with you the real, like, and making it so that it's cool and that you can vibe with it and that you can actually learn and grasp from it. And so I feel like a lot of what he does for people and for society has been taken for granted. I feel like he has been made someone to point the finger at because of his strength and because of his mental abilities. I feel like a lot of people point the finger at him and can't even deal with themselves in no type of way, shape, or form, especially spiritually, because when you come on a spiritual journey, you have to have discipline. A lot of things are going to be taken away from you that you might be normally used to getting. Like, let's say attention. Some girls are used to getting attention, but when you come into Chief's life and he don't give you that attention, that's a problem. You see, there's a problem Everybody has problems. Everybody has issues. And those are the things that people don't want to tell you. Those are the things that people they want to hide. But Chief makes them very, very public and open, because I mean, we're all going through the same thing. I mean, I don't know why people don't think that we're not going through the same thing. Like, we're going through the same thing. Why do you want to limit the ability of someone to explain to you with understanding how spirituality really goes? You know what I'm saying? Put a limit on that. And so I'm like, damn, it's sad, because we don't be understanding how we are God. We don't be understanding that. And people point the finger and be like, oh, he said he's God. No, I said we are gods. We are all fractal pieces of the oneness. God wanted to express itself as me, as you, as you, as you. Yet, when you don't think about it from the way that Chief does it, then you're going to run into problems. And that's why a lot of people who go on their spiritual journey and their spiritual path, they don't last. Because they don't have an understanding. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say that there are certain things, Christian, Muslim, but they don't understand. With Christianity, you don't understand what it means to be or live and do as Christ. Because if you did, you will understand and you will see and you will know him when you've seen him. And I think that just waking up to that understanding, for me, has been an experience. It's been an experience. Cause like, I've been on this journey for a long time. And of course, we all need help. We're not really going to understand everything, right away. Sometimes it takes repetition, because that's what our lower self uses to program us with, is repetition. That's why we know how to live a lot of times in society, is because we have been doing things through repetition. But when you're trying to learn something new or break a bad habit or a pattern, you have to, pick up a new lifestyle, you have to use repetition. And so that's what Poppy has done. He uses a lot of repetition to help us. And uses a lot of repetition to help us. So a lot of people take what they have for granted. And they play these tricks and games on themselves as if they're going to get away with what they're doing. But karma comes around, and it doesn't just wait for you. It waits for those around you too as well. Remember, everything is a mirror. We all have obstacles. We all have challenges. It's about how you choose to deal with them. It's about if you choose to take responsibility for them or not. Do you point the finger? Do you play the victim? Do you accuse people of things when the point of the matter was to take a look at yourself? Those are the questions that we have to ask. Question everything. This reality isn't real. It's not. That's all I'm saying. So, in my experience of the journey, the purification process, it's strenuous. It is hard. But it's also very thrilling. It's also very exciting. It's also very, I get a lot of emotions when I think about the purification process, and when it comes time to actually live out the knowledge, I get a lot of different feelings from it. And that I all, keep a healthy perspective for. Because like my husband tells me to condition my mind, I have to think positively all the time, no matter what is happening or what has happened. I have to take whatever it is. If I viewed it in a negative way, I have to alchemize it and make it positive. The thing that people neglect the most on this spiritual journey is the work that they have to do on themselves. They always look for an external person, or they look to Chief, look for him to do the work for them, and Chief does. He is like a nurturing, very loving and caring individual, to the point where he cares so much that he will do the work for you, to the point where you might have to, just do it on your own in order to appreciate somebody like him that will push so hard for you. He does the work that a lot of people don't want to do. People have skipped the very important lesson that they had to do that for themselves. And a lot of people didn't do that for themselves. They wanted him to do it. And when he's like, okay, I did it for you, but I'm not going to keep doing it for you. I have my own ankh to carry. You got to carry your own ankh. And then, with people's perceptions of things, it's very sad. I've seen a lot of people do some foul shit to him. Very foul. Yeah, nobody takes responsibility and just comes out and say, yeah, I did him wrong. I fucked up. Not on their own time, though. They have to apologize and say they fucked up for lying or already doing some fucked up shit to him. Like, they don't all start a video and say, yeah, man, I'm going to take responsibility and say what I did and how I'm supposed to grow. What lessons did I learn? People are forgetting that, and they point a finger, but they're missing the point every time. Because the spiritual journey is to look and fix what is going on with self, so that it will reflect on your external reality. Yet, since we're babies to this spirituality thing, we need help, we need guidance. But sometimes people go to a trainer and they're mad at the trainer. Sometimes people search for a teacher and they're mad at the teaching style of the teacher. The fuck? How you gonna get mad and you want to be great? How you gonna be great complaining though? How come you talk a good game, you act like you so hard, but when it comes to doing the work, you gone, you nowhere in sight for your own self? How is Chief gonna be more excited or more enthusiastic about your life than you? Think about it. Think about it. So, there's so much more that is going to be, there's so much more that's going to be revealed. So much more that's going to be revealed. And myself, I'm ready to see the exoneration of Chief. I'm ready for people to take responsibility and tell the truth. And that's going to happen regardless, because the truth is always, remember, the truth will always come to the light. the spiritual journey, the purification process is not an easy one. Don't forget that we are in our own minds. Treat yourself kindly. Be open. Be honest. Be vulnerable. When you find something that you want to do, be passionate about it. Be enthusiastic about it. Spread knowledge and continuous awareness of divine knowledge of self. We are at war. It is time to load up on knowledge, and it is a mental warfare. You know, a lot of people, they get distracted with the physicality of things. Don't fall for that trap. You will be physically strong but mentally weak. This is a mental warfare, and you want to be able to be and endure to the end, because the spiritual journey is like a roller coaster. You have to surrender your will, what you want to do, what you think in your mind that you want to do. You have to surrender that to the universe. And that's where most people, they don't know, because you think that you want to control stuff, but you can't control nothing. You have to surrender to the universe. I mean, you have to allow. You have to allow. So study, you know what I'm saying? Pass along the information to somebody that you know that it can help. Because at the end of the day, we're in this together. Where are you going on this earth that I can't go? Nobody can get off of the earth. We're all on the same earth. We all breathe the same air. We all need the same things to survive. Oh. You know who taught me to think like that? My chief. You know who taught me to question everything? That's right. My chief. Okay? And so you see people who were in his world doing great things. Because you know what? Somebody had asked me a question, right? And I thought it was really funny. They asked me, they said, was everybody who came really talented? I started to laugh. You know, my answer was, I said, hell nah. Hell no. People want to act like they were, had all these great talents. No, my nigga, you got your swag. You got everything that you knew from Chief. He was able to provide an environment where you can now unplug yourself from the matrix and focus on your gifts, your talents, your abilities, your mind, divine knowledge of self, knowing who you are, getting back to a natural state, and proclaiming that you are God. Whoa. And people made that a bad thing. How could you do that when the reason that you're good right now at making music is because he allowed you the time to do it, the time and the space to do it? Why people make him the enemy when he had a system made that fed everybody, made sure that everybody was good, made space for open communication even though nobody came forward and wanted to talk? I mean, how could people demonize such a good thing and make it to be something bad? Me, it still puzzles me because I don't think like that. I'm like, no, I take responsibility. I know everything that I do. Like, why do I have to point the finger and blame somebody else? Like, that's not even right. Why you gotta lie? Why you gotta lie on people like that? What? So I was like, how you could demonize somebody who made a way for you to thrive, who made a way for you to see a part of yourself that I guarantee nobody has ever saw. Not nan one of those individuals was able to see themselves in that great of a light that Chief has shined on them. Chief made it possible for everybody to cultivate the greatest versions of themselves. And they took that and was ungrateful, made him the bad guy. When we were elevating in conscious and awareness, we were elevating in consciousness and awareness, and because people couldn't keep up with it, or because you didn't understand and you then chose to ask questions, which is the main thing that we're supposed to do on the spiritual journey, is be curious and ask questions. Because people did not do that, they simply just went into a lower self way of dealing with things. And the lower self way of dealing with things is evasion, kind of like pointing the finger at somebody else, making somebody else the blame, becoming a victim, and among other things. But nobody wanted to take responsibility. They wanted to point the finger. They wanted somebody to blame other than themselves. When you do that, you have to think about the quality and the state of your being, of your spirit, of your mind. Is it healthy to think like that? Is it healthy to live like that and do like that? Like, once you tell a lie, once you do something to somebody, you have to live in that. And a lot of times when people done things that they didn't do, like say for instance, you went online and you talk shit about us, like I was saying earlier, and you have to come back and you have to face that in front of millions and thousands of people, or turn the camera on and say, wow, why did you have to lie? I apologize, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, I was angry, right? They say these things and then they turn around, and once it's time to start to be regular and to live, a week pass, 2 weeks pass, a month pass, and the situation starts popping up where you have to actually own up, because it doesn't go anywhere. Once you do something to somebody, it doesn't go anywhere. You have to resolve the issue. People didn't want to resolve their issues. They wanted a free ride, but not working for it. Like, truly, really working on trust. Like, we're working with trust here. And when you do negative things to people, that takes that trust away. So now you have to earn it back slowly, gradually. A lot of people aren't built for that slow and gradual process that it takes to actually work to get something back that you once had. So they run and they try to go and start a new life, trying to be a new character or creation or whatever you want to call it. But everywhere you go, there you are. You're never going to be able to get away from yourself and what you have done. It is always going to come back and catch up to you. That's why this journey isn't easy. Because when it comes back to you have to dealing with you and what you put out into the universe, most people run from it. A lot of times it drives them mentally insane. People end up in crazy houses because of what they they themselves have done. You get it? So the process of the spiritual journey, it isn't really relatively easy because it requires people to be honest, authentic. Those are one of the MODs, the morals and the principles that we live by. Yet it's one of the hardest things that we have to learn and that we have to implement. It's one of the hardest. It's very hard to be honest, you know. But when you think of everyone in the mindset, that perspective that Chief gives us, that we are all one, we are all sharing a one collective consciousness. You'll start to respond differently to situations when they arise. You start to see things differently, and you start to say, I'm going to think about that differently. You know, I'm going to be more, I want to give it more thought, you know, than just going off of emotions, because sometimes we misinterpret things. A lot of times we misinterpret what somebody means, and that's just ignorance. Why not just ask questions? Why not just clear it up? Why continue to go with the perspective that you don't even know is true? It's so hard for people to be honest. It's so hard for people to live authentically, because it faces yourself with you. Most people can't even look at themselves in the mirror. Most people cannot even tell the truth. And that's what's hard about the journey. It's because at the end of the day, I can't point the finger. When I logged into this reality as a baby, butt naked, I was in that little sack with me. Usually, when people transition or die, should I say, transition, who do you go with? Yourself? You're going by yourself. So ultimately, I'm responsible for me. I'm responsible for being honest. I'm responsible for living an authentic and righteous life. Me. And that's what's hard for a lot of people, because they cannot face themselves. When push comes to shove, you really see how strong people are mentally. But at the end, we are going to see who the strong are. At the end, we are going to see what the actual truth is. There's no other way but to come with this. Then there's no other way but to come to this. And when you wake up again, in that process where you are questioning reality and questioning society, and you find Chief, you will know that you are on the right track. We just have to stop taking things for granted and actually live in the moment and use these morals and principles of righteousness that we have in order to extract the most out of our experience. Because you cut yourself short when you don't involve yourself or live authentically, or, you know, be honest with yourself. You create your reality based off of lies and illusions. And that's a hell state all in its own. So, many dimensions to the purification process of spirituality. But all is well. Free to 3, because he will be free. I mean, what do you think? All is mental. 3 is free. I love myself. Reflections, peace, and blessings to you on your spiritual journey, and understanding what the spiritual journey is actually about. And in my next video, I probably will get down to this, breaking down what spirituality truly is. Even though my husband's already said it perfectly and clearly to everyone, you just have to go to Spirituality 101 on Nature Boy TV. And we'll just break it down, give some definitions of what spirituality is, what the essence of everything really truly is, okay? Because we are not in a time where we have to be ignorant anymore. We have a wealth of knowledge and awareness that needs to be shared in order to heal ourselves and move past the blocks that we are in society, in order to know and realize that we are gods walking upon this earth plane, and that we really need to look at ourselves and start to live differently, more authentically and honestly, and more closer to nature. And the only way, the fastest, like my husband says in quotes, the fastest way to learning yourself and divine knowledge of self is through nature. And we'll break down what nature truly is in another video. So, I love myself again. Peace to the gods on chance and opportunity. Do the right thing when no one is looking. You only have you. At the end of the day, don't make it hard for yourself. I mean, come on. Just do the right thing. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you all the way. I don't want to see anybody just doing the wrong thing or living an inauthentic life. Ugh. I wish that, yeah, do the right thing, please.